Next on there, I mentioned that we want to go for things that we can get a huge profit from. Now, what do I mean by huge profit? Well, I like to make at least double my money back. So if I buy something and it costs me, let's say $3 to get, then I like to sell that. Then I want to be able to sell that for at least $6, right? You want to basically, if something costs you $1, you want to be able to sell that for at least $2. If something costs you $1 and you got to sell it for like $1.10, that's a little too tight. You're going to be, losing money probably on that, and that's just way too narrow of margins. So you just want to be dealing with products that you can get a huge profit on and big markup. And again, this is why things like supplements, and I know I've mentioned these a few times, but it's just the first thing on the top of my head. But supplements is great because I can honestly get some supplements for like $2.50, and then I can turn around and charge $30, $50, $60 for that. So that's definitely huge profit. So again, we just want to make sure that we can at least make our money back and then some, right? We want to look for, ideally for something that's like double, all right? Let's go to the next here. Here's some more ideas of the things I like to look for. And I want to go with something that people buy again and again. Something that's reusable. So let me give you an example. Toilet paper. Now, toilet paper might not be the most glamorous thing to sell online, but think about it. Somebody who buys toilet paper, if they like your toilet paper, what are they going to do next month? They're going to buy that toilet paper again. What are they going to do the month after that? They're going to buy that toilet paper again and again and again. So that's why that's a great market to be in. So think about pens. If people, if you're selling pens on Amazon and people like your pens, they'll buy it again and again as soon as it runs out. Let's think about creams. Let's think about moisturizers. Let's think about supplements. Let's think about kitchen items. Let's think about, anything that people order again and again, anything that people go through is going to be a great idea of things to sell. Now, it doesn't mean that that's the only thing that you can sell. It's got to be reusable stuff, but it's going to be a really great plus if it is something that people buy again and again. Again, like supplements. Think about whey protein. Think about anything like that people at the end of the month, they restock up on it, like makeup or something like that, right? So let's go down to the next point here. It's got to be lightweight. And this is really going to come into play when we talk about shipping and all that stuff. But just realize that if you really want to make lots of money and deal with a lot less headache, go for items that are lightweight. So if something's like 1,000 pounds, okay, move along to the next thing because it's going to be a pain in the butt to ship that out, to get that delivered or any of that. Now, even if something 10 pounds, 15 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever, it's going to cost you a lot of money for shipping and for handling and for Amazon to take care of that. So again, what I like to look for are things that are very lightweight. Ideally, something that's like a pound or two. That right there will probably do the trick, or less than that. A lot of my items might only be like, say, 13 ounces or 6 ounces or something like that. Okay, we want to go for something lightweight, ideally something that's less than 2 pounds. Let's just say that. Next, unbreakable. So we want something that is highly durable and that does not break during shipping because that will give you a headache. So what are things that break? Well, glass breaks, right? So you don't want to be trying to sell, antique vases. You don't want to be selling let's think of anything else that just breaks. How about a lot of electronics? Let's think about cameras. You don't want to be selling a camera because when that gets shipped out, that could break, and then they're going to leave you negative comments, and then that's going to hurt your score with Amazon, and then it's just going to be bad news. So let's go with things that can take a beating and that don't really break, at least that don't break easy, all right? So next on here, I mentioned something that you can do lots of upsells with. And what I really mean by this is, let's say you pick a market of things to sell, like we'll say stuff for your bathroom or stuff for your kitchen or clothing, right? you want to pick a market where you can basically promote a lot of other stuff, because on Amazon, you can list multiple items, right? Like once you're going to get some traction, people are going to buy your stuff. Well, they're going to want to buy other things from you too. So ideally, I recommend picking a market where there's a lot of different items that you can sell. Like, ideally something that you could sell at least 10 plus different products in that market. Like if let's say you decide you want to go with kitchen supplies, well, there are a lot of different kitchen supplies that you can sell. And that could be your thing. You're the kitchen man. Or let's say something like, like dog toys. Well, there's a lot of different dog stuff that you can sell. So, ideally, I'd recommend doing things like that where you can have lots of upsells. Also, I mentioned on here that you want to look for things that have lots of competition. Now, I know that might seem very opposite to you. You're probably thinking like, what? Why would I want to jump into something that has a lot of competition? Surely I will get crushed. Surely I cannot compete with them. I'm just a little guy. I'm just a newbie. I'm brand new. No, because the stuff I'm going to show you, you're going to be able to knock out even the biggest players in the game. So really don't sweat it. Don't sweat about jumping into big markets that have competition. Competition's great because with competition, number one, you know that people are buying stuff. You know that there's money in it. And the other thing is you can really see what's working and what's not working. So we can get ideas from the pictures that the top guys are using, from the headlines that the top people are using, from how much they're selling the products for, what people don't like about that product, and all that kind of stuff. So when you got competition, you can see it, you can get all these ideas from them. If you don't have competition, you're basically flying blind. You're jumping out into the middle of the forest completely blind and just hoping that people would be interested in buying your stuff. You have no idea what people, what they're interested in, why they even want your product, and what magical words that you can say to get them to buy. So that's what happens when you're in a market that sucks, in a market that doesn't have much competition. So, if you're looking at products and there's no other, just say there's like one or two products that are on that and there's nothing else, that's probably not a market that you should be in. That's probably not products that you should sell, because you can't get ideas, you can't see what's working, and it's just taking a complete shot in the dark, okay? So next, here's another big point I want to mention. You should avoid doing items that are being controlled by big fish. So there's no shame with competition, but you do not want to jump into a market where it's like the whole top 100 items is like all big players, big well-known brands. So, for example, you don't want to do cell phones because you're going to have to compete up against iPhone. You're going to have to compete against Samsung. You're going to have to compete against those kind of companies, and you can't, right? Even if you can find a company out there that can do like a knockoff cell phone, and then you slap your own cell phone name on there, you can call it like the X phone or something like that, right? You don't want to do that because people are not going to, number one, they're never going to find your phone because your phone's going to be on like page 10,000. And number two, people are going to want to go with that name that for those kind of products, they want to go with that brand name that they can trust, right? Think about shoes. Women want to buy brand name shoes that they know, like, and trust already. When it comes to a TV, guys don't want to buy a TV from some weird company that they've never heard of before, because they're like, where is this thing from? Is this like a knockoff brand? Is this thing going to fall apart on me? And, how do I get this thing fixed? And et cetera. So that's why, again, just go for markets that has lots of competition. There's nothing wrong with competition, but ideally you want to go into markets that's not all controlled by big fish. So, let me just throw out an example here. Let's say staplers, right? Staplers. Is that a market that's controlled by big fish and big brand names that you would know? No, right? Like, I could probably go to Amazon right now and look up staplers and tell you some of the company names, and you're going to have no idea who that company name is. You don't know about it. right? And that's the kind of market you want to jump in, because we are going to get our own products made with our own name on it. And again, we don't want to have to compete with really well-known brands, right? So, think about refrigerators. Would that be a market that's controlled by big fish and well-known brands? Yes. So like Maytag, and all these other names that a lot of people are going to know, you do not want to do. So stay far away from those kinds of things. You want to get into markets that, you go to the top 100 listings on Amazon, and you're going to see a whole bunch of products that you have no idea who that company is. If that's the case, good. But if you go to the product, search up the topic on Amazon and it's got major brand names all over the first page, skip, go to the next, okay? And let me just give you a quick rundown of just a few bad categories that I would recommend that you just stay away from. Number one, digital music. You can't really do with what we're doing here, you're not going to be able to resell digital music like CDs, MP3s, DVDs, all that kind of stuff. So don't even bother with that. Books, bad market, especially for what we're doing. It's way too slim of profits. If the item can break, don't do it. If it's something that's made out of glass, don't do it. If it's a lamp, don't do it. If it's a vase, don't do it. If it's a glass clock, don't do it. If it's electronics, don't do it. So, a lot of expensive luxury items, and I just mentioned a few, don't do it. So there you go. That wraps up this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.